Thank you for everything.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll be in
Get my
touch.
daughter and be in touch with you very soon.
A couple days, I'll be in touch.
Okay.
Okay, I'm allowed to get
friends, family, alumni, community members, underclassmen, faculty, staff, and administration. Welcome to the 104th Class Day at Chazy Central Rural School. My name is Georgia Belrose, and I am the president of the class of 2023. You have seen us all here for the past 13 years, growing up, and now it is time for us to face the big picture, adulting. Thank you. That's all.
That's it? That's all you have to say?
Well, I guess I could say a few more words. Before we face the reality of adulting, it is important to look back on and celebrate our time together as a family. Our years may have been wildly interrupted, but that's not stopped us from having fun and making memories which will last a lifetime. Just yesterday, we were all walking to the building for our first day of school, and today, we will walk out for our last day. But everything is looking up, and it's about to be the best day of our school lives. It will be a fun ride, so for safety precautions, please keep your hand and feet in your own chairs as we jump into the celebrations of the class of 2023. Kindergarten. In kindergarten, our teachers were Mrs. Thune and Mrs. Rovers. This year, Georgia Belrose. At the barn, we ride a Mikey Stolo. Austin Dozer.
If you're not ready for the night, it cannot always be day.
Reagan Dudiak.
The fact that jellyfish have survived for 650 billion years without a brain gives hope to many people.
Kaden Garrow.
It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Haley Lauren.
I like my dog more than my classmates.
Lily Marsden.
Hannah Montana said nobody's perfect, but here I am.
Camden Mayo.
Camden Mayo as I live and breathe.
Elena Pilon.
I'm just carrying on an old family tradition. I am very proud of my dad's name.
Parker Pratt.
I don't hate people, I'm just not necessarily excited about their existence.
Michael Smith.
This day never looks like this do when you're living through it.
Lily made a big announcement one afternoon. Lily and Lewis had decided that they would marry each other, and if they were not married by 18. One January day, the boys and girls came in from recess claiming they saw a black bear. Reagan announced the bear was coming for him because he was part beagle, and the bear could smell him. After looking at a picture of President Barack Obama, Kaden informed the class that his dad used to be friends with that guy. Lily then added that her mom used to date him. She made sure that everyone knew that President Obama used to be her mom's boyfriend. Our field trip this year was to Applejacks. First grade. In first grade, our teachers were Mrs. Woods and Mrs. Poopor. We had a great time at the 1812 homestead. Miss Paula, showing us how to make candles, asked, "Why is there only one window in an 1812 house?" There was no answer, so she responded, "To keep out the animals, to keep warm, and to keep out who?" She then made a gesture to demonstrate a mohawk haircut and ran her pointer finger across her neck and made a noise. When she asked the group the question again, the class yelled out, "A turkey!" Everyone began laughing because, of course, in those days, they wanted to keep out the Indians. This year, we performed our first play, Aesop's Fables. We can still sing our songs. Camden and Lily were best friends. When sitting on the rug for reading time, they would often get in trouble for talking with each other. I will now turn the reading over to my friend and classmate, Lily Marsden.
Second grade. In second grade, our second grade.
Second grade. In second grade, our teacher was Mrs. Langlois. This year, we were joined by Luke Moser.
Always be prepared to win, but know you can lose.
Kylie Para.
Be the change you want in the world.
Amelia Smith.
Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind.
Camden Mayo and Caden Garrow left our class. This year was the first year we were combined into one class. We made Chazy history. Luke and Lily dated the whole second grade year and kissed in the cubbies when Mrs. Langlois would leave the class for a minute. Amelia and Elena wrote a book about a snail's adventure called Mr. Bologna. Our class had winter wars and had to choose which side we belonged to during recess. Reagan flipped a desk because he had to stay 8th period. Amelia and Parker were the math king and queen. George's obsession began with Luke in first grade. This year we worked hard and presented our wax museum. After our presentations, we tried on each other's costumes. Some costumes went mysteriously missing. On Minor Day, we took a trip to the cemetery to learn more about Mr. Minor with Mr. Cheeseman. May both men rest in peace. Austin hid in a bookshelf, so he didn't have to get his picture taken. This year, we went to Echo for our field trip. I will now turn the reading over to one of my good friends and my classmate, Elena Pilon.
Third grade. In third grade, our teacher was Mr. Dupree. This year, we were joined by Landon Castine.
If you worry about it, if you pray about it, don't worry about it. If you're going to worry about it, don't pray about it.
Jaden Marshall, get in, get out. Mr. Dupree announced to the entire class that the boys' bathroom door was broken and did not lock. He reminded the boys to please knock before going in. 2 seconds later, a classmate walked into the bathroom without knocking and walked in on Reagan using the toilet. Neither Mr. Dupree nor Reagan were amused. We enjoyed our math fact snowball fight. We would pick up a piece of paper, solve the math fact, crumple it, and throw it at the other team. When Mr. Dupree had the hiccups, Parker stood on the chair, tipped Mr. Dupree's head back, and poured water down his throat. Woody Mayo came to our classroom to practice our math facts. We all made him rainbow loom bracelets. We really enjoyed his visits. All of the girls and the moms had a huge crush on Mr. Dupree. Kylie, Lily, Emily, Georgia, and Amelia always had sleepovers, which included playing alligator. Georgia tried teaching Kylie how to skate, but it didn't work out. Mr. Dupree showed a video of a huge snake in class. Kylie and Georgia cried. I will now turn the reading over to my friend and classmate, Haley Lauren.
Fourth grade. In fourth grade, our teacher was Miss Sutherland. This year, we were joined by Petru Therthru.
The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
This year, Kaden Garrow rejoined our class. Lana Castine got contacts and was in the nurse's office all the time. Georgia cried all morning at Fort Ticonderoga because her dad made a wrong turn and she was late. Parker was always injuring himself when everyone was making jokes about it. Caden's glasses were broken by pillows and a dodgeball multiple times. Kylie sprained her ankle by playing dodgeball as well. Austin bled all over the classroom and Miss Sutherland asked him to sit down, not knowing that he was profusely bleeding. He did so, saying nothing. We had to have 8 desks cleaned and the entire floor was mopped. Parker gave Landon Castine a bloody nose in soccer. Luke made a goal when he was playing goalie. A turtle was found dying at the Olympics and it was safely moved back to the pond. There were many dramatic arguments between the girls this year, and the pink team won the Olympics. That team included Kylie, Austin, and Kaden. I'll now turn the reading over to my classmate, Kylie Parra.
In 5th grade, our teacher was Mrs. Sutherland. This year, we were joined by Sequoia McChesney.
Life's like a river, just go with the flow, man.
Our features this year included going to the Minor Farm twice and visiting the Shelburne Museum. Our presentation was a debate of current issues. Luke kicked the soccer ball over the fences at recess all the time. The record was 3 balls in one day. Landon Castine bought cookies in the cafeteria for the whole class, but got in a little trouble for the use of his parents' money. Parker continued to have constant minor injuries. Our class won 2 compliment parties, dodgeball and fancy clothes, and dodgeball and crazy outfits were chosen for the celebration. Luke hit Mrs. Sutherland with a dodgeball so hard that it took her breath away during the dodgeball compliment parties. Sequoia invented man dance and names. Everyone had names like K-Man and Hey Man. Kylie sprained her ankle 3 times this year. Haley found everything that was lost in the room. Petru was caught mocking Mrs. Sutherland behind her back. He still claims it was a misunderstanding. Sequoia hid in the podium and jumped out, scaring Mrs. Sutherland. Many of the boys played knee hockey on the floor at recess, like the Stanley Cup was at stake. I will now turn the reading over to my friend and classmate, Sequoia McChesney.
In 6th grade, our teacher was Mrs. Lambert. This year, we were joined by Katana Kuhn. Sooner or later, we all quote our mothers. Landon Salamando.
If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you might miss it.
Camden Mayo rejoined our class. During the first week of school, we had a STEM activity With spaghetti and marshmallows, we built Noodle Town and connected all our creations. In October, we all hiked Rattlesnake Mountain and participated in the Beams course. We loved the trip and couldn't wait to go back. In October, we also celebrated 100 years of CCRS. We made books with our sister classes, the 2nd and 10th graders. We learned about the history of CCRS and made a mural about it in art. At Christmas time, we had a lunch buffet and watched the movie Elf. Mrs. Lambert gave us treats every day for the 12 days of Christmas. We rocked playing Ghostbusters as a band at our spring concert. Mrs. Wise was happy and everyone remembered their music and instrument. Mrs. Lambert put on Just Dance to give us breaks, but some of us did not like dancing. Camden got married this year, and Emily Bacher was officiant via FaceTime. When given the wedding certificate, Camden ripped it up, thinking it was divorce papers. In May, we went to the Environmental Field Day at Clinton County Fairgrounds. We especially remember learning about making jelly from dandelions and violets. We enjoyed singing on the bus on our field trips. Little Einstein's was a class favorite. Camden broke her arm, and Mrs. Duffy, who spent the year with us, had to write for her. In June, we returned to Pocomacrady. We all did the low ropes course in the morning. It started right at lunch, so we had to switch our afternoon plans. We all climbed the crooks. Some of us were afraid to climb, but we cheered each other on until we were all able to do it. It was a very rewarding trip. We had a lot of fun on June 9th with our grandparents. We interviewed them and made a few kites together. June 12th was our first class day and we enjoyed participating. It was hard to believe it was now our class day. June 19th was Fun Day. The theme was Mardi Gras. It rained on and off all morning, but we had a great time despite everyone being soaked. 6th grade was a lot of fun. I will now turn the reading over to my close friend and classmate, Camden Mayo.
Seventh grade. This year we were joined by Will Upton.
Everything happens for a reason.
Caden often danced in science, homeroom, and whenever he had spare time. Eventually, many other people started doing it too. Petru brought Mr. Frechette a Mountain Dew for his birthday. The glass bottle fell to the ground, spilling all its contents. It didn't break. It took Mr. Frechette most of the period to clean up the mess. During one class, Mr. Thompson asked, "Why don't we use X for multiplication symbol?" Camden replied, "Because we're big boys and girls now." The whole math class laughed hysterically. This was the start of Mr. Thompson saying, "Camden Mayo as I live and breathe." He still says this to her. Lennon Salamando got his nickname Sally. Most teachers started calling him that. That name has stuck. At tech classes parties, we always forgot to bring plates, forks, and cups. So usually we just stuck eating off of paper towels and eating with our hands. We read a book called A Wrinkle in Time, and as a class trip, we went to see a private showing of the newly released movie at Cumberland 12. We decided the book was better, but enjoyed the trip. We were the first class in junior high school to get Chromebooks. During our winter weekend practices, some people brought in stuffed animals for the practice of the talent show. After a bit of practicing, we all started throwing stuffed animals and had an all-around fun time. Reagan, Luke, Austin, Caden, Sally, Zamir, and Michael were obsessed with Fortnite. Lily had taco salad almost every day. Everyone at the lunch table always wanted a bite. During fire drills, the seniors at the time had a Save Petru sign to ensure he didn't get left out in the library. I'll now turn my reading over to my friend and classmate, Luke Mosier.
8th grade. This year we were joined by Dejanay Minto.
Deep down I'm ready, but I'm gonna miss the basement.
Petru Thurthu left our class. During winter weekend, while our class was working on our sculpture, we decided to go to Stewart's. Lily, Amelia, Haley, Katana, Dejanay, and Caden decided they all needed a quick snack break. We won second place for both the talent show and the snow sculpture. The snack break must have been our winning ticket. Caden often went to Amelia, Haley, and Lily for girl advice. One day during a tech class party, Georgia was laughing so hard she peed her pants. Candy and Katana helped conceal the fact by saying she sat in water. When walking into the band room on Thursday, February 28th, Miss Wise noticed many confused faces as the announcement on the board read, "No school, February 29th, 30th, and 31st. Enjoy your days off." Elena's love for Bon Jovi grew and grew this year. She regularly photoshopped pictures of herself with him. Aiden made Amelia and Reagan die of laughter when pretending to be a cat, hitting every single hand sanitizer dispenser he walked by. Hydro flasks were dropped, brandished, and used as weapons throughout the year. No one will ever know why, but for some reason most of the boys started calling Michael Dan. Hashtag we love you, Dan. Amelia and Lily watched Chill with Bob Ross almost every single weekend. Luke and Caden threw food across the lunchroom daily, but made sure they never got caught. Reagan was practically forced into joining band club, but really enjoyed it being a tech. Ironically, he did not show up to help the nights of the show. Parker and Amelia would sing the Mario theme song and hit their heads off their books. Caden broke his glasses countless times. We lost track after number 8. There was that time when Amelia couldn't stop hitting the wall and eventually got Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Baldwin, and Mrs. Brandell to do it. Many varsity hockey games were attended by the majority of our class, supporting Luke, who got moved up as an 8th grader. Landon Castan presented the 3D printer for Norse Titanium, dressed snazzy in a suit. Amelia and Sequoia had an obsession with Kim Possible during French class. Katana impressed the whole softball team with her skills, earning her spot as a shortstop, which she still plays. It will be very hard for the team to fill her shoes next year. Camden gave the entire class a great laugh almost every day with the hilariously random things she would do. We know it is an inside joke only Amelia and Georgia understand. Will was assigned to present the Heimlich maneuver with Luke in health class, causing the whole class to laugh. Chapstick and eyelids was a big thing this year. Mrs. Baldwin hosted tea time during class for a full period. The entire class spilled the tea and all the hot gossip. Lily and Reagan started calling Amelia Mia. It became a popular nickname. I will now turn the reading over to my friend and classmate, Amelia Smith.
Ninth grade. This year, we were joined by Gunnar Frenier,
Give anything less than your best as a sacrifice to gift.
Peter Labarge,
The mind is everything. What you think, you become.
Petru Thurthu rejoined our class. Peter brought a speaker to lunch and put on the movie The Lion King for his lunch table, including Reagan, Amelia, Lily, Georgia, and Luke. Lily and Georgia cried when Mufasa died. Mrs. Baldwin spent an entire class period trying to explain how to round numbers to Caden, when really he knew how to do it. His reasoning behind this was because he didn't feel like sitting through science class. Amelia spilled yogurt on herself almost every day during lunch. Camden, Katana, Sequoia, Dejanay, and Peter were the only ones who participated in Winter Weekend Talent Show this year. Reagan and Amelia went on social distance bike rides when school was canceled for the rest of the year due to the pandemic. Haley, Luke, and Reagan got moved up to varsity soccer. Lily cried because she wanted to see Shawn Mendes in concert, and her dad felt so bad he bought tickets for their family to go see him live. Dejanay had a lot of people over to her house. We played fun games, sprayed each other with a hose, and dumped buckets of water on each other. Parker and Lily got married over Minecraft, but Parker was not loyal. It was discovered that he had a different Minecraft world with just Amelia. Mrs. Baldwin's third period class had tea time almost every week. This mainly consisted of Georgia telling the class about her boy problems. Georgia and Sequoia did TikTok dances almost every morning during homeroom. Sally, Caden, Austin, Will, and Gunnar went four-wheeling riding when the weather got nice and their vehicles got stuck almost every time. Lily went to homecoming with an upperclassman, and one day they were in the library together. Mr. Frechette came in and asked the upperclassman if he was babysitting. I will now turn the reading over to my friend and classmate, Landon Castine.
10th grade. This year, we were joined by Nasir Gordon.
Another sleigh, what can I say? Moonshika did your hair today.
One day, the Google Meet was crashing in French class. So Amelia, Elena, Sequoia, Parker, and Lily all left the meet to play Among Us. When the Google Meet started working again, the rest of the class ratted them out. Lily, Amelia, Sally, and Caden had a spot in the woods with chairs and a table. They would sit, talk, dance, and laugh there for hours. Sometimes others would join them, including Reagan, Austin, Peter, Luke, and Georgia. Amelia and Elena made a two-part video on why you shouldn't kiss your friends because you would get mono and posted it on TikTok. Amelia, Camden, and Sequoia would routinely walk to Stewart's before softball games to get some pre-dubbed snacks. Whenever the class played Kahoot or quizzes in Miss Lawrence's class, Sequoia was very competitive, especially towards Georgia. Reagan and Amelia would constantly bicker over tiny things. Little did all of their teachers know they were actually best friends. In fact, the day Reagan got his license, the first friend he picked up was Amelia. They drove around with the windows down and played their music loud. French class was enjoyable this year because we made Miss Brendel laugh the hardest she ever had. The class had a lot of musical fun. One day, Amelia couldn't get country songs out of her head. Miss Brendel thought it was funny and proceeded to play all the songs we selected. Amelia thought the funniest thing in the world was putting your hands on your hips and tapping your foot, as if you were imitating someone who was annoyed or agitated. You do this if any minor inconvenience happened. Soon enough, Sequoia, Camden, and Lily started doing it too. One night, Sally and Zamir went to Michael's garage to play basketball. They didn't have a basketball hoop, so they found a fishing net. Took off the net and taped it to the garage door. They ended up playing basketball all night, constantly retaping the net to the door. Petru and Austin were bored one day and decided to make a sketchy go-kart out of a push-mower engine and some spare wood. So they started building it during winter. By the end of the school year, it was still only halfway done. It was dubbed the DG Cart. One day, when we were in Mr. Cross's class, everyone wore hats backward and said, "Over the top," including Mr. Cross. One day, when Lily and Amelia were learning remotely, they suddenly had a craving for breakfast. It was the end of the school year, so they figured it wouldn't be too big of a deal if they missed one math class. They went to Applewood Eatery and ordered some pancakes and French toast. As they began to feast, Mr. Osborne walked through the door. Lily and Amelia burst into laughter. Elena and Haley painted a mural in Mr. Cross's room. During softball practice, Mr. Thompson asked Emily Woznicki, "What time is it?" She responded, 4:20. Out of nowhere, Camden blurts out, "4:20 Gucci Gang," and did a dance. Everyone burst out laughing. Reagan and Parker regularly played guitar at the beginning of science class for everyone. One day, all the baseball and softball players left early for their games, leaving Miss Fall alone in the classroom with the rest of the class on Google Meet. Alone in her classroom, she took off her mask. Georgia's jaw dropped as she completely forgot what Miss Fall looked like without a mask. Georgia told Miss Fall this, and it was quite the laugh for all of us. Peter and Reagan often picked on Georgia for being a horse girl and eating sugar cubes. They apparently did this all year so she could develop a thick skin and help with character building. She just went along with it. Haley came back to school full-time for the last 3 weeks of the year. It was so hot during these weeks that laying on the floor in class was her specialty. Katana was a force to be reckoned with on the soccer field, as she plowed over more girls than we could count. On Google Meets, we often saw Michael, Sally, Will, Gunnar, and Austin riding four-wheelers, while Luke and Austin were often seen fishing on Lake Champlain. Luke texted Georgia for a solid 2 weeks for girl advice. Everything went as planned, and he got a girlfriend out of it, though they aren't together anymore. Haley and Elena were a part of the Harvard Model United Nations team this year. The conference was remote, but the team managed to bring back the Best Small School Award back to Chazy. Poor Lily had the worst Google Meet connection ever. Most of the time, she was either frozen or you couldn't hear her at all. Georgia made her first JV soccer goal this year against Mariah. It was a direct kick and soared right over the goalie's head. She knew she couldn't have done it without Coach Thompson and almost peed her pants on the field. She was so happy. Elena, Amelia, Peter, Haley, and Reagan went to Cattle Barn for a farewell dinner for Katera. Peter accidentally spilled his drink all over himself and the floor. Sequoia and Camden would always pass notes in Global. Dejanay always would fall asleep during class. Elena had many Google Meets interrupted by her cat, Farva, and her father, who would yell things when she unmuted her microphone. Peter, Sally, and Gunnar pretended to be hanging off a ledge and lined outside of Miss Brown's room, reenacting a story they were reading as a class. They got a lot of looks from the parents in the courtyard. During softball, Katana and Sequoia would go to McDonald's after a game and get a Happy Meal just for the latest toy. Peter broke his nose. It was a bad break. He talked about it for months. It drove others nuts. At this point, some in the class thought Peter may have broken it on purpose, just so that he would have something to talk about. Kylie, Camden, and Sequoia were at Haley's house. Camden peed herself from laughing too hard and then cried uncontrollably from embarrassment. Landon Capsline was at Peter's house for the weekend, and he had Carolina Reaper pepper almonds, the spiciest peppers in the world. Landon tried one, and it in his mouth for 2 seconds, and he said it wasn't spicy. He then proceeded to eat a handful of them. He started dying as the heat increased. Though he normally doesn't drink milk, that night he drank a gallon of milk in 5 minutes to try to reduce the pain. I will now turn the reading over to my friend and classmate, Nasir Gordon.
11th grade. In 11th grade, Jaden Marshall rejoined our class. This year, we all started off wearing masks and practicing social distancing, but March allowed for us all to drop the masks. It felt like a step in the right direction to normalcy. Dejanay, Sequoia, and Katana threw Nasir an amazing 17th birthday party. Our junior prom changed Chazy traditions. It was held at Rainbow Banquet Hall in Altona with a huge thanks to our advisors, Miss Lawrence and Miss Stevens, and our class officers, Georgia, Haley, Austin, and Amelia. The night was filled with a lot of dancing and laughs and good food. It was a night not to be forgotten. Parker and Reagan were famous performers in the library when playing the guitar. They often attracted a large crowd. Mrs. Fall and Mr. Patnode treated the class to a movie night in the library to watch Of Mice and Men. It was a great few hours of class bonding, despite Lily and Georgia crying for at least 4 times. The boys' favorite part of every Thursday was studying vocab with Mr. Patnode and making the most dirtiest clues possible. The clues did work, so thank you, boys. Mr. Seymour's 6th period class enjoyed getting off topic during class and loved to hear him talk in his best British accent. On the way home from an away softball game, Georgia had a lot of energy and was having some good laughs with her team. She started to laugh way too hard and peed her pants on the bus. She was not the only one, as Camden then fell out of her seat, smashed her head on the back emergency door, and peed her pants as well. In chemistry one day, the class was talking about ammonia. Luke announced to the class, "Hey, I had that once." Miss Lawrence in the class giggled when she told him, "No, that's pneumonia." Austin, Caden, Michael, Will, and Sally got into a donut hole fight in the parking lot one morning before school. Reagan and Parker got into an argument once again over something in chemistry. Parker flipped him the bird. I will now turn the reading over to my friend and classmate Kylie Pera.
Twelfth grade. The girls' soccer players like to tease Coach Tregan about his new balanced wardrobe. We said he bought on a shopping spree at Kohl's. Nasir got his nose pierced in the senior lounge by Lily. When Mrs. Brown walked in, Luke, Amelia, Kylie, and Camden created a barrier, thinking Mrs. Brown wouldn't know what they were doing. Needless to say, she knew. Dejanay and Peter became really good friends this year, but would miraculously pick on each other. During Mr. Devin's class, after a long, drawn-out standoff, Katana, acting as the judge, sentenced Dejanay and Peter to hug it out, which they did. Camden, Kylie, and Lily were at a party at Dejanay's. Kylie was sitting in the jacuzzi, which was in the bathroom. The other girls came in to visit. Camden sat on the toilet seat and proceeded to break it. She fell on the floor of the toilet seat, laughing so hard she peed herself. Dejanay had to loan Camden a pair of shorts for the rest of the evening. Luke, Austin, and Reagan shared a room together at Final Four. Coach gave the boys a case of water to distribute to the team. They texted everybody to get the water. When the team arrived, 3 boys were standing in their big birthday suits. Gunnar, Will, and Michael formed an informal ping pong club and competed almost daily during the first period. Caden, Sally, and Samir were hanging out at Michael's house. Sally put on Michael's mother's cop uniform. It was very tight. Amusing photos were taken. Sorry, Mom. One morning, Mrs. Brown had to take care of sweet Safira and came late to school. When seen walking up to the courtyard, the class shut the door, turned the lights off, and were silent. Mrs. Brown tried to unlock the door, making the class laugh because the door was not locked. When they sang her happy birthday, this made her really laugh. It was not Mrs. Brown's birthday. Anytime we had a party, we could always count on Luke's father to bring food and snacks for us. The boys' soccer team had dinner at Chili's during the Final Four. The team left, not really realizing that Austin was still in the bathroom. Austin called Luke to ask where they were. The team was already at the hotel, so Austin walked back to the hotel. Mrs. Brown was called for jury duty and had to miss senior play rehearsal 2 days before the performance. Dejanay picked on Mrs. Brown about it daily. Not long after play, Dejanay got called for jury duty. The class got a good laugh, including Mrs. Brown. Peter got bored and decided to play the games which on his iPad. Unaware the games cost money, he played $15 worth of games. Coach McAuliffe did not know and ended up paying for it. Thanks, Coach. Caden, Luke, and Landon went to Cassie's camp. Luke cooked ramen noodles in a ravioli can, and it spilled everywhere. Everybody went to bed. When they got up the next day to go hunting, he just slipped the noodles and fell in his butt. Kylie, Lily, and Camden kidnapped Georgia for her 18th birthday. Landon and Luke skipped senior play practice to go to the board review, but didn't tell Mrs. Brown they were going. Since they were missing for about an hour, Mrs. Brown was understandably not pleased. Luke gave her a hug to give forgiveness. Luckily, it all worked out because we set the record for the class participation and audience attendance. Katana and Nishane always picked on Mr. Devins. They would go to the class with a poker face, not saying a word to him. One day, Katana signed a note to Mr. Devins asking to use the restroom. The girls both thought Mr. Devins would say yes, but instead he decided to play along. He wrote back saying, "There's a garbage can over there." The girls laughed so hard they couldn't keep the joke up anymore. In Cat English, Camden announced her car was making a weird noise every time she drove it. Elena asked, "Have you checked your blinker fluid lately?" Camden proudly admitted, "Yes, I know how to check that." Elena, Georgia, Kylie, and Millie laughed really hard. Well, Camden adamantly said she knew how to check the oil before realizing the blinker fluid wasn't a real thing. During the senior trip to Vermont, Reagan thought our tour guide at Ben & Jerry's was really hot. So did Dejanay. On the bus trip home, everyone was hot, so the class had a water fight. Haley got mad at Luke and dumped a whole water bottle on him. He later got her back. Georgia, Lily, and Kylie jumped off their raft to go pee. Georgia's dad swam over, not knowing they were all peeing in the river at the same time. During the senior skip day at the beach, Reagan and Peter walked away to go flirt with girls from Canada. Dejanay kept splashing people, so people put her in the water. She can't swim. At the campsite during senior skip day, Kylie locked her keys in her car, and a cop had to come. Lily said he was cute. Cameron also scratched her dad's truck after hitting a sign. Senior year has been a lot of fun. This concludes the history of class of 2023. can't believe we are actually graduating. It's gone by so fast.
I know, right? Remember the senior play?
Yeah, that was so much fun. Camden did such a great job as Goldilocks.
Speaking of Camden, where is she?
Sorry guys, I was just looking for the basket of goodies.
Hey, give me my goodies back. This is not goodies. It's just a bunch of gifts.
Oh, look, there are gifts in here for all the classes.
To 6th grade, a great start to your time in middle school.
Seventh grade, more matching outfits for the girls and less hugs for the boys.
For the 8th grade, fewer detentions.
For the freshmen, kindness and togetherness.
For the sophomores, working Chromebooks.
Oh look, there's gifts in here for teachers and staff.
If there's any food in there for them, I call dibs.
You have a serious problem.
I can quit anytime I want.
Guys, we have company. Let's give out the gifts.
Oh, right.
Mrs. Adams, congratulations on your new position.
Mr. Alton, more animals to dissect. Mrs. Barkham, kids who actually do the announcements when they're supposed to.
Miss Barnett, more cute outfits.
Mr. Barrier, more possession games with the varsity boys.
Mrs. Basso, unlimited, I'm sorry. Mrs. Basso, unlimited happiness and best wishes in the Carolinas.
Mr. Bayshard, welcome back to CCRS.
Mrs. Bell, an assistant for the senior accounting.
Miss Brockway, a successful year at the vegetable stand and more chickens.
Mrs. Brown, some time to breathe.
Mr. Steve Cross, bigger tarpeian rock for kids who don't do the read-a-reacts.
Mr. Devins, a hard-working TA.
Mr. Duffy, a new cousin.
Mrs. Duffy, more hours at the coffee shop.
Mrs. Fall, a better working mousetrap and another movie night together.
Miss Favreau, more comfy sweaters and a most happy retirement.
Miss Guerin, heavier weights. Mrs. Garrow, more bike routes and a retirement filled with outdoor adventures.
Mrs. Green, a longer retirement.
Mr. Hernandez, more goats and a llama.
Mrs. Osler, more Sundays.
Miss Hubble, another prop and a senior play.
Mrs. Brandy Juno, a self-splitter so you can be in two places at once.
Miss Celine Juno, an injury-free season.
Mr. Kane, more pizza parties to win.
Dr. K, a bigger space.
Miss Lambert, more fun days.
Miss Lemaire, another recess with Will.
Langlois, a new pet.
Mrs. Langlois, unlimited mousetraps.
Miss Lauren, a well-behaved bus run.
Mr. Lauren, a floor machine that runs itself. Mrs. Lavrine, gratitude for putting up with our lunch shenanigans.
Miss LaFan, more beautiful art displays.
Miss Lazardi, a ticket to the voice.
Mr. Nelson, more minutes.
Miss Mata, more ghosts to catch.
Mr. McAuliffe, another state championship.
Mr. Meadow, another tattoo and a new guitar.
Mr. Moak, a very happy marriage.
Ms. Nephew, a permanent retirement.
Mr. Norcross, more kids to joke with.
Miss O'Hagan, more fun book fairs.
Mr. Osborne, more sick days.
Mr. Fran Patton, another trip to Washington, D.C.
Mr. Steve Patno, a time in the library that is calm and quiet.
Miss Penfield, more math. Mr. Pelon, more Halloween costumes.
Mrs. Pelon, a CD Tech bus run that with well-behaved students.
Mrs. Pothouse, another TA like Amelia.
Mrs. Booker, fond memories on our Fedibles class.
Mrs. Racine, a house in Syracuse to see your son.
Mrs. Riley, more time with well-behaved kids like us.
Miss Rigger, more high heels and fanny packs.
Miss Sample, seniors who stay in your study hall.
Mr. Seymour, a ticket for a front row seat to see Slayer.
Miss Charlo, a chance to work with Miss Stone again.
Miss Smith, to be the CEO of a computer science company.
Mrs. Stone, a full year psychology class, a half a year just wasn't long enough.
Miss Sapisky, a bigger classroom.
Miss Sutherland, another year with us.
Mr. Tate Rowe,
More hot sauce.
Mr. Tatro, a confident baseball team.
Miss Thomas, more sunglasses for bus rides.
Mr. Thompson, a softball win against Crown Point.
Mrs. Stu, more awesome Uggs.
Mr. Tregan, more pumpkin spice lattes.
Mrs. Tregan, more successful circles.
Miss Wilford, a very happy retirement with a good Wi-Fi signal.
Mrs. Mosier, a non-sarcastic son.
Ms. West, a new knee.
Mrs. Wilson Stevens, a well-organized junior class with money.
Miss Woods, more beach vacations.
To all of the faculty and staff we never got to know, may your years at Chazy be as happy as ours have been.
Wow, finally, that's all the gifts. Let's get out of here, guys.
Guys, it looks like you forgot some. I think the rest are for the juniors.
Oh, it is for the juniors. Look, guys. This one is for Luke Basso. Luke Basso, a movie-producing degree with more World War II veterans to interview.
Tess Blair, a D1 goalie scholarship.
Avery Bocart, a 'a bedazzled cane and unlimited supply of fresh greens.
Brianna Bolton, more cool earrings.
Gabby Braun, a successful career of taking care of animals.
Abby Bushy, more New Jordans.
Shiloh Carroll, a new hair straightener.
Giselle Castro, Year One Art Studio.
Lexi Clark, a world record in high jumping.
Caden Columbus, a new RC car.
Chase Dickerson, a dojo wherever you go.
Evan Dwyer, a laser hair removal.
Samir Foster, big gains in a goalie career.
Landon Frenier, a green shirt.
Samantha Gagno LaFountain, an injury-free sports season. Alexia Hanyor, a state-of-the-art gaming system.
Audrey Langlois, more bright colors on your cleats.
Yasmin Lawrence, more art supplies.
Taylor Lewis, an endless supplies of crystals.
Julia Lynch, a successful writing career.
Chance Mayo, more time hunting and fishing.
Dylan McAfee, another penalty kick.
Ava McCullough, a lifetime discount to Lululemon and Sephora.
Peyton McIntyre, gym gains.
Sean McKinney, electric Heelys.
Isaac Merrill, more cargo pants.
Hannah Rabideau, you're on piano.
Haley Reynolds, an unlimited amount of dance competitions.
Rose Stewart, more comfy pajama pants.
Robbie Trombley, a set of personal headphones for the library. Cassidy Turek, unlimited pink everything.
Isabella Vineski, more animals to love.
Is that everyone?
Yeah, I think that's it.
I can't believe we are all done until graduation.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, but thrilling at the same time.
I wish we could take a time machine to the beginning of the school year. I'll miss all of you.
Agreed. We are so thankful for Mrs. Brown and Mr. P. Classmates, come and gather here, so we may look into the sphere. We shall look into the ball that holds the future of us all. It tells us what we are to be, so listen while we look and see.
Georgia Belrose will be owning it in the classroom, teaching students the best of history. She will also be married to a lovely husband with a family and a big house on the lake. Georgia thinks it just isn't funny that the teaching job she loves pays no money, but in the classroom, she's boss. She learned that from Cross, and fortunately, she married her honey.
Miss Melrose, I've already told you 10 times this week you're not getting a raise. I'm very busy in airplane Tetris. Come back when you have a degree.
Landon Castine will be selling fine jewelry. Landon Castine felt that college was for weenies, so he went into jewelry and drives Lamborghinis. Selling you a watch, he'll make a great deal. With each detail, he'll give you a spiel. And by the way, his jewelry shop is called Castini's.
Katana Kuhn will be a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids and 14 cats. We could picture Katana staying home with 3 kids and her cats in a dome. Her spouse must be very forgiving because he might not think it's really living, being home all day, never to roam.
Austin Dozer will be fishing on a boat. Austin is living on his boat. As a fisherman, he's definitely the goat. The boat's loaded with fish. So our sincere caring wish is that Austin's fishing boat stays afloat.
World domination, anyone? After listening to Peter's insults for years, Reagan has had it up to his ears. He's now king of the world, his own flag is unfurled, and now Reagan is one of Peter's biggest fears. Or a physical education teacher. Watch him go by. What a runner! Of course, it's our speedy friend Gunner. He works with electrical power, but he got more bored by the hour. Now, as a coach, his track team will be a stunner.
So Gunner, if there's anything you think you can possibly do to get my lights to work, that would be great.
No problem. Electricity 101.
Awesome.
Caden Guerra will have moved away from Chazy, somewhere warm. He'll own his own business down south and probably has a family. Caden moved down to Carolina. The song's right, his life couldn't be finer. He's running his own shop. That blue truck will never stop. He's pimping out enough to drive it to China.
styling hair for the rich, and he puts up with no witch. Because look, he's not as Gordon, just saying.
Looking good. Yeah, so what will that be? Yeah, I think this. Yeah, this. Cover it. Okay. Yeah.
Peter LaBarge will be a cybersecurity ethical hacker with his own car and house while living in Texas. He doesn't think he'd like to have a family yet. As he wanted, Peter LaBarge lives alone, but he's calling up Reagan on the phone because he's been jailed as a hacker. Now he needs a bail packer as he begs Reagan to front him alone.
Haley, Lauren, and Elsa will have both graduated from architecture school. When Haley is not designing organic homes, she and Elsa will be traveling frequently and eating delicious foods. Haley's organic homes are the best place to be. When she's not traveling the world, you will see. Both Elsa and Haley are dining together daily. It's great to have snacks and be free.
Come on, Elsa, we have a flight to catch. Lily Marsden will be in her big house with her rich husband solving everyone's problems as a counselor. If a counselor is what you need, call up Lily. She won't think your problems are silly. Her mansion is where she works, her rich husband is no jerk, and he keeps her from ever feeling chilly.
How does that mean? I do not get paid enough for this.
Camden Mayo will be pursuing a career as a mortician and settle down. She'll be married and have a few kids. Camden Mayo loves you most when you're dead. Let me say that again. Camden Mayo loves you most when you're dead. As a mortician, she makes your permanent bed. She's our favorite undertaker. She's the real deal. She's no faker. And she'll even place a satin pillow under your head.
Sequoia McChesney will be jacked with a family, dog, and a good job making money. Sequoia, what happened? You're jacked. If you think she's still skinny, you're cracked. She's trained and she's worked. Every weight she cleaned and jerked. And she dares you to start talking smack.
Dejanay Minto will have a full-time job traveling the world and maybe even 2 kids in a house. Traveling the world, 2 kids in a house, Dejanay is so proud she's no mouse. She still misses school, but it's all good. She's cool to enjoy her great life with her spouse.
Excuse me.
Oh, how may I help you?
Could you tell me where is my flight to Jamaica?
Oh, your flight to Jamaica is that way, but can I see your ticket?
Of course.
Thank you. All right, here you go.
Which way is it?
That way.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Luke Moser will still be rizzing. Luke is dating girlfriend 876, but all that rizzing has got him in a fix. The exes have all been talking, and now it's Luke they're stalking, because they refuse to be discarded chicks.
As you can see, I'm on girlfriend 876 and still risen.
Kylie Perry will be getting her dream job at a huge criminal justice law firm that is motivated to help those who have been wronged through the criminal justice system. She will make a career of putting those who have committed outrageous crimes away for good. If you have been wronged by the law, call Kylie. She finds ways to help you out. She works slyly. She'll work to earn your trust, to get the result for you that's just. About her legal work, everyone thinks very highly.
You can't take my baby boy away from me.
He's my son! Order. Jimmy, who do you want to be with?
I'll be with mommy.
Yeah!
Elena Pilon will be driving tractor trailers as a successful woman-owned business and will be the best towing company in New York. Accident? Call Elena for a tow. She'll get you out fast, and away you'll go. She owns her own shop. Her reviews are the top. Her business is raking the dough.
I just drove my car to school. I need help. I'm on my way.
Parker Pratt will have gone south, laughing at the people in the class who stayed in the cold. Parker's living life, warm in the sun. He moved to the south, where all life is more fun. He didn't think it was that bold to move away from the cold. Why does his classmates all stay in the north, everyone? Will be working in law enforcement with his own home, a nice truck, and a couple of big toys. Landon's now Officer Sally. Giving tickets, he runs up a big tally. If you look suspicious, he could be quite vicious, because he's protecting the whole Champlain Valley.
Sir, do you know why I'm driving? Well, you're going over the speed limit about 20 miles an hour. Should you care to explain that?
Oh, I swear I was going the speed limit, officer. I swear. I was looking at my speedometer all the time.
Well, that's not going to do it. I'm going to have to write you a ticket because you're being a little.
Amelia Smith will be a crazy cat lady. No one can say that Amelia is lazy. Some think her sanity is hazy. She's got cats, 62. A cat lady living in a shoe. She can't help it, for cats she is crazy.
Michael Smith will be working for the union and living in upstate NY. Heading the union is where we find Mike. He's a Teamster boss you're able to like. He's in upstate NY, so give the union a try. If your workplace does wrong, you're on strike.
Petru Thurthu will be traveling the world. We knew Petru found Chazy too small. Now traveling the world, he sees all. He's even writing a book about giving the world a good look. If you need travel info, give him a call.
See you later, alligator.
Wait! You forgot your hammer. Oh, thanks. Here, come on.
Will Upton will be traveling around the world. Will has been visiting many places, trying food, seeing sights and new faces. We might wonder what's his fave. What new food does he crave? No time to answer. Off to a new place he races.
Now that we've told you what the future will bring, let's hope that we've covered most everything. The ball is getting darker now, nothing seems clear anymore. Maybe next year's class will have a surprise in store. Now, everything has left our view. We hope our predictions will all come true.
To the President, we present this gavel, so you can lead the class with authority and respect.
To the Vice President, we present the Constitution so you can uphold the bylaws of Chazy Central Rural School.
To the Secretary, we give the letter to record the important notes of the senior year, of your senior year.
To the Treasurer, we present the coffer to collect funds to finance your senior year.
Good afternoon, friends, family, staff, alumni, students, and most importantly, seniors. We are gathered here today to support you as you finish your chapter of your lives and to celebrate you as your high school careers come to an end. Each and every one of you has successfully written and completed this chapter of your lives. Today, we celebrate the story you've created with amazing memories, new friends, and many adults whom you have learned from. Each and every person you've encountered so far has had a purpose in your life and has helped you get to today. As a student who always looked up to each of you bright, amazing seniors, you've all had a purpose in my life. I have learned a thing or two from you as each of I have learned a thing or two from each of you as individuals. As a whole, everyone from the senior class has grown to be what feels like siblings together. Every one of you has helped me and many others around you become better people, and for that we thank you. You have managed to keep the underclassmen humble in more than one way, equalize the respect through the grades, and I've allowed everyone to have a good time during your time here at Chazy. We as a school and community have watched you grow into the young adults you've become today. Our community has supported you through thick and thin, from school, sports plays, field trips, and so much more. All the people you see behind you today have aided you in your many advancements through the years. As you're leaving Chazy, remember, these people will still be here for you no matter what, whether how close or far away you are. This is and always will be your home. If you look around, a good amount of the people in this room today, even some not here physically, love and care about you. Nelson Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Your education has helped you author your life story so far, whether you're aware of it or not. Now you get to write the next chapters. Your life is like those Goosebumps books we used to read in elementary where every choice you made had a different ending. As the author, you will now choose the direction your story will take. All of us have read your story so far, and we're wondering what you will do with it next. Just like an author in the beginning of the writing process, you don't fully know where your story will go yet. It's still under development, but that development is now in your hands. You're in control of your actions. This is your story. Make it worth the read with what you choose to do. You aren't always going to know exactly what's going to happen in the future, but you control the upcoming chapters. Remember that. This is only the beginning. You have so many more chapters to come, so remember a few things from today. The most repeated lesson taught throughout school is to stay true to yourself. It can be a nasty world outside of our little town. Through your college and work experiences, go meet people who will help you grow more. Take the knowledge you've gained being at this school and carry it with you in the back of your head. It may come in handy at some point in your life. And never forget, as many of the senior boys have mentioned this year, we're going to miss you all dearly. Chazy won't be the same without the class of 2023, and we thank you all.
Today, we reflect on our time at Chazy. Our class has always been close, and it's because of living in Chazy. Living here in a small town has made us create strong bonds, which we'll have for the rest of our lives. In 20 years, we'll be able to call on our classmates, asking for a favor, and I know they will answer the call. For being a class of 24, our class is small but mighty. We are fun and rambunctious. We've always followed the rules, but maybe we've also bent them a little bit on our quest of enjoyment. We've tried to include everyone in that quest. We've tried our best to be friendly to each other, our parents, other teachers, other students, and our community. We have always liked to play as a class, and anytime someone has wanted to join our fun, we say, more the merrier. Or at least that's how we remember it, which is probably best. We have tried giving everyone something to smile about. Today, we smile. We realize how good Chazy has been for us all. All the parts of Chazy have taught us to always do our best. When we do our best academically, we are rewarded with smiles, ice cream parties, and award ceremonies. When we do our best in the sports field, we are rewarded with send-offs, Final Fours, banquets, and so much beyond that. When we do our best in the arts, we are able to make memories of our art shows, plays, and concerts with our community in the audience always. When we do our best, we feel the support of everyone. We have done our best because of the support. It's comforting to know that no matter where you are in Chazy, someone will have a wave of recognition and a conversation with you. Growing up, we saw alumni, and the upperclassmen we aspired to be like. We now join that very unique group of Chazy alumni. Though we are ready to argue the best class color is red. Our small class has strong bonds, which are a blessing and a curse. At this point, we basically treat our classmates as siblings because we're together so often. This has taught us to let go of things. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who won and tag. Because of our time together, we are ready for our next step, whatever that may hold. The last few years of our life have taught us many things. We have learned that no matter how big we get, we will have the same problems as when we were little. They're just more complicated. A kid's story that illustrates this is The Kissing Hand by Audrey Penn. It is a story about Chester the raccoon on his first day of school and how he feels. The story starts out by saying that Chester the raccoon stood at the edge of the forest and cried. "I don't want to go to school," he told his mother. "I want to stay home with you. I want to play with my friends, and play with my toys, and read my books, and swing on my swing. Please, may I stay home with you?" Chester's scared of his first day of school, and his mom pushes him out of his comfort zone. On our first day of school, our parents did the same thing in their own ways. That day, we met some of our best friends, many of whom we've been with for 13 years. Along the way, many new friends have joined us, and some have left us. Thank you to our parents for pushing us out of our comfort zone. Thank you for making us meet new people, loving us always, supporting our decisions, and shaping us to be good people. We wouldn't be here today, smiling at everyone in their seats, if it weren't for you, our families. We are proud to be graduating from Chazy. We know our little class and our little town are unique. We have learned to motivate each other like a family, always telling each other to do our homework or to pay attention in class. Even now, my classmates care about the day-to-day well-being of each other. If one of us is upset or having a bad day, we cheer each other up or listen supportively. It all started when we were little and we got off the buses or walked through the lobby heading towards our classrooms. I'm sure all of us were terrified. Chester the raccoon was scared too, and he was told sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do, even if they may seem strange and scary at first. For some of us, as we walked into Mrs. Thune or Mrs. Rover's room, it was nerve-wracking. Our teachers understood that, and they comforted us. Looking back, from 2nd to 6th grade, we were one class. Miss Sutherland did 2 years in a row with us. That must have been a challenge for elementary teachers, because we had shows, presentations, and field trips. There was only one person organizing it. Most importantly, all of our elementary teachers were open to give us a hug when we were down. When we got upset during cops and robbers, at the bubble during recess. Our teachers told us it'll be okay, or we'll get it next time. Thank you to all of our elementary teachers for your patience, knowledge, dedication, and love. School did seem strange and scary at first, but you helped and supported us. Middle school came. We started to follow our own paths, and it was new all over again. But our teachers again helped us, this time opening our lockers, helping us remember our schedules, and even handling our middle school problems. The fact that we had learned to support each other in elementary school was so important as we moved forward. We learned to not be afraid to get called on in class. We learned confidence when asking or answering questions. My classmates learned to support each other, and our teachers taught us our opinion is important. Prepared, we headed off to high school. Just down the hall, but it turned out to be a different world for all of us. Suddenly, during 9th grade, our world came to an abrupt stop, and our classmates that were like siblings could only be seen on Google Meets and on drive-by bicycle rides. It took time, but eventually we came back together, and life is slowly making its way back to normal. We were able to attend sporting events, and boy did we. We were spectators like no other. We even had competitions to see which soccer team could support the other better. We got to enjoy our junior prom and shared it with last year's seniors. We enjoyed playing together after so much time apart. Looking back, we are thankful and proud of the dedication this school and community has had for us. This year, we lived life to its fullest, with plays, field trips, winter weekend, sporting events, and prom. We thank our high school classroom teachers who stayed on Google Meets for hours with us, reminding us to hand in our read react, man. Successfully getting us through the regents and preparing us for the outside world. Thank you to all who provided us opportunities, including our music concerts, plays, clubs, field trips, and competitions. Thank you to the guidance office for helping us navigate college applications, the FAFSA, scholarships, future life plans, and helping us navigate life. Growing up is really hard. Many of us play sports, and many lessons were learned on and off the field. So thank you to our coaches for pushing us to do better and yelling to fix it, and for helping us through the great wins and the tough losses. They're equally important. Thank you to those behind the scenes. Thank you to our janitors for cleaning all the messes we made through the years, from a little spilled glitter to a science experiment gone wrong. No class is perfect, so thank you to the administrators for keeping us in line and cheering us on into adulthood. Thank you to the Board of Education for keeping our rural school as up to date as any large school. Finally, our class would like to thank our Chazy community, who really is an extension of our family. Sometimes, as a young person, it can be hard living in a small town, but our community is very supportive, helping us with so many fundraisers, filling our bags to go to Final Four with treats, laughing with us for our senior play, helping pay for our new uniforms, hosting team dinners, and even helping us take 2 senior trips. We're thankful for our community, for always supporting us, doing their best to scream and shout or clap their hands the loudest. To feel the entire community on your side, win or lose, is amazing. And a special shout out to our community organizations for their unending support, including the Chazy Lions Club, the Chazy Athletic Association, the Chazy Alumni Association, and the PTO. Without all of you, our years at Chazy just wouldn't be what they were. We will always proudly say we are from a small town of Chazy. Each of you have been instrumental in shaping us. So to all the underclassmen, enjoy all the experiences coming your way. We'll be watching and cheering for you from the sidelines. Juniors, we know visiting and applying to colleges and deciding what you want to do next is difficult and can be overwhelming. We've been there. Not all of us know what we want to do next, and that's okay. Appreciate all the little things that happen next year and all the things that people do for you. I know you're looking up at us right now, thinking, oh, I have a while till it's my turn. Right now you're eager to become a senior and be the top dogs. But your year will go by quickly. Enjoy your senior year. Take the trips, do skip day, be in the class photos, do prom again. Enjoy class day, look forward to graduation, and spend time together as a class. Sit in the lounge together and just bond as a class. And don't be cliquey. Remember that getting along is better than getting your way. It is okay to not be right all the time. What matters is not getting in fights about it. At the end of the day, does it really matter who is right and who is wrong? What does matter is you always work hard. Do your work. There isn't much of it, so set the example. And don't forget to play hard too. Find a balance between work and play in your life. Remember Chester? That night, Chester stood in front of the school and looked thoughtful. Suddenly, he turned to his mother and grinned. "Give me your hand," he told her. Chester took his mother's hand in his own and unfolded her large, familiar fingers into a fan. Next, he leaned forward and kissed the center of her hand. Now is our time to give you, our families and friends, your kissing hands. Our futures aren't all on the same path, but you'll still have us in your hearts. Just as Mrs. Raccoon watched Chester walk away, you will watch us walk away, but this isn't goodbye. Just as the warmth of Chester's kiss filled Mrs. Raccoon's heart with the special words, "Chester loves you," our class tells each of you, the class of 2023 loves you.
I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost with no way. My faith is shaking, but I gotta keep trying. Gotta keep my head held high. There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. It ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. The struggles I'm facing, the chances I'm taking, sometimes might knock me down, but no, I'm not breaking. I may not know it, but these are the moments that I'm gonna remember most. Yeah, just gotta keep going, and I gotta be strong. Just keep pushing on. There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Put yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today is when I always knew this day would come. We'd be standing one by one with our future in our hands. So many dreams, so
life, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do? They're really saying I love you. My baby's crying. I watch them grow. They're like much more than I ever
That's all right.
It's a lot of noise. Sorry, Kevin. All right, Peter, when you're ready.
When the trees sing.
Nice and loud.
When the trees sing, it doesn't really matter. If you know the song, or if you know the words, or even if you know the tune. What really matters is knowing that the trees are singing at all.
As we stand here, ready to get off the K-12 ride, we leave a legacy for the place we have called home for the last 13 years of our lives. So before we set out on our individual life journeys, we want to leave behind a piece of our family for all of Chazy. This year, we are replanting the CCRS Class of 1979 tree with our Class of 2023 tree. This former class is one of our sister classes and members of our raccoon family. Today, we dedicate this Brandywine red maple tree as a permanent symbol of the many memories we have made together. And though after today, we may not be here physically, we will always be here. Chazy is where it all started. My mom and dad always told me that once you enter high school, time goes by differently. But I never understood what they meant until now. When we entered middle school, 2023 seemed so far away. Days just seemed to drag on, and our moment as seniors couldn't come fast enough. Most of our time in class we spent watching the clock, seeing how much longer class would last. However, here we are now. The day we never thought would come is here. We almost wish that the hands on those watch clocks would slow down. We will always cherish the time we spent with each other. Our classes made history together, not only as a class, but for Chazy history. Being one class for most of elementary school is something the school has never seen before, but that's not a bad thing. We are who we are because of that decision. We have grown to love and respect each other in a way that no one will ever truly be able to truly understand. We have created a family that will never exist again here at Chazy. As the years go on and classes move to the next, it will continue to be routine. Teachers will look at their lessons to reevaluate and look at their new rosters to get ready for another class. But this routine is finished for us. Now is an entirely new chapter in our lives that we are stepping into. And honestly, it's scary to think about, but we are prepared. Someone once said, every new chapter of your life will require a new version of yourself. We are grateful for our history. We are also looking forward to this time to create a new chapter in our own stories. Chazy has laid the foundation for us, for our raccoon path. It is time to separate from this, but not forever.
Just pause, Jordan. Just pause.
Someone once said, every new chapter of your life will require a new version of yourself. We are grateful for our history, but we are also looking forward to this time to create a new chapter in our own stories. Chazy has laid the
foundation for us, for our rightful path. It is time to separate from this, but not forever. Today isn't goodbye, it's just see you later.
The class of 2023. See you at graduation morning, seniors.
Oh no!
See you later, alligator.